Hi Pisces, welcome to your November reading. I am so grateful to spend this precious time with you. I hope that you're taking excellent care of yourself. And before we start drawing cards, I want to just first say I've already meditated and cleansed the space, meditated on the message for your reading, and what I saw was a woman. It kind of gave me like 1940s pinup vibes, if I'm being honest, like bright red lipstick. She was walking in the dark holding a candle. I also saw a rose, like a close-up of a rose unfolding, and she was walking in the dark holding a candle. And eventually I saw her walking. Oh, I also heard ocean waves. Then I felt the sand beneath my feet, and she was walking to a group of women or maybe just a group of people on a beach at night. And there was an elder person there who greeted her when she walked up to them. It was on the beach, and they said, I heard come, and then I heard, you've come so far. We're so glad you've come. So, yeah, it was very interesting. It definitely gave me kind of ancestor vibes. Obviously, Pisces, you're a water sign. So even in saying that, it still kind of surprised me when I first tuned in to meditate on your reading and I heard, ocean waves crashing. So yeah, I feel like there's a deeper meaning there than just you being a water sign, but we'll dig into that. If you've never been here before, my name is Allie, and I am so grateful to spend this time with you. If you have not subscribed, I would love it if you would consider that. If you feel called through the reading, please like, share, or subscribe. I would appreciate that greatly. All right. So if you will, just take a deep breath with me, or 3. Time and space are irrelevant. If you have any questions you want answered in this reading, go ahead and ask your team now. And yeah, let's see what's going to come through here for you, Pisces. Also, I felt very called to use my Mystic Mondays tarot deck. Aside from the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, this was the first tarot deck that I was ever given. It introduced me to this world, and I love all my decks like friends. Truly, they all have their own energy, their own personality, but this one is really close to my heart because it's the OG for me. All right, Spirit. Messages for Pisces. What can Pisces anticipate in the month of November? Please and thank you. Messages for Pisces for the month of November. Please and thank you, Spirit. So, we're going to start off with these here. I just keep hearing that you're ready for a new beginning. And I feel like you've had to really, just power through life. I feel like it's a very interesting energy. I feel like in some ways you've been motivated, like there is no other way. It doesn't matter how tired I am, how much I've been through the ringer. I have to power through. The only way out is through. You have to go through the fire to get on the other side. And also, I feel like you're also exhausted and tired and ready for things to shift, for things to change, for there to be a new beginning. I don't know if there's something here where maybe people haven't been the kindest to you or shown you very much grace or compassion. I feel like that's something that you normally give to everyone all the time. But it almost feels like there's a harshness to the energies that you've been having to power through. I'm very resistive to say that you're like fighting through life, even though that's kind of the energy that I feel, but I don't think you view it that way necessarily. I feel like you're tired, you're ready for things to change. I think you just have so much grace. So I just heard waiting for the other shoe to drop. So while you're hoping for a new start, it also feels like you are in this kind of, you're ready to take on obstacles, take on challenges. Even if you're all alone and doing it, you can do it. You know you can do it, even if you're exhausted. But I do feel this kind of traumatized energy in a sense. I know that word is overused, but a traumatized energy in waiting for another shoe to drop feeling. I feel like in a lot of ways you feel like an island, like you are doing a lot of life on your own. I don't think that means that you don't have important or loving people in your life, but I think it does feel like when it comes down to it, you do feel like you're kind of fighting through life on your own. And this is an interesting message because I just read something this evening that was talking about identity and ego and losing what it feels like when we start to surrender our identity. And I feel like right now and I don't feel like this is your fault. I feel like it's just the circumstances you found yourself in where you have to take on an identity of being on your own in many facets of your life, being the strong one, being the one that fixes things, that figures things out, that, it feels a little isolated. But there's also this energy that Spirit is giving me here for you about allowing your brain to dissolve that sense of identity. How do you describe yourself? Like if someone were to ask you who you are, would you say, well, I'm a dentist and I'm a runner, I'm an athlete, I crochet? Like, do you list all the things that you do instead of listing all the ways that you simply exist, that you and all the ways that you be? I don't feel like that's a real sentence, but I hope that makes sense. Instead of saying, well, I'm a mother and I'm a nurse, you would say, I'm very compassionate, I'm an empathetic person, I hold a lot of joy and optimism in the face of adversity. Like it's like a call to ask yourself, how do you view yourself in the world? There's something going on here subconsciously for you that Spirit's wanting to highlight that I think would help turn this Six of Wands upright, the Six of Wands energy, because right now it is in the reversed position for me, which tells me you want to feel victorious over your life. You want to feel like you've been victorious over challenges and obstacles that have come your way. But there's some kind of just like, and maybe that harshness that we were talking about earlier, maybe some of that is how you speak to yourself, your thoughts, your mind, maybe you grew up with a really, how do I want to word this? you know, people who didn't nurture a positive internal dialogue. Maybe you grew up around a lot of negative people and they were negative towards themselves and negative towards everyone else too. That's a learned behavior, you know, because I feel like the essence of you is very deep and far-reaching and nurturing and loving and empathetic and joyful, optimistic. It's like on the positive side of life, but I don't feel like that's how you grew up, or the people that maybe are even around you now. I feel like the essence of you is kind of like Rose Nyland from the Golden Girls, which is this very carefree, bubbly, you know, lighthearted, go with the flow, silly kind of energy. But as an avid Golden Girls fan, like 25 years strong now, Rose was also had a lot of depth that you really would only see if you had like watched the show in its entirety maybe a couple of times. Rose actually has a lot of depth, a lot of feeling, a lot of caring. I actually wouldn't be surprised to find out if her character was a Pisces, as I say this. She could really go to the depths and back, and even as goofy and silly as that character was, she could also be very wise and in peculiar, like, did you really just say that kind of a way? You know, Dorothy would do that sometimes, you know, it's like, did you really just say that? Like, you couldn't believe the wisdom that just came out of her mouth. And so I kind of feel that for you. Please don't take offense to anything that I'm saying. I'm not saying you're I would never say this to anyone. I would never say that you're a dip. I don't even know what that means, but that's what I'm kind of channeling right now. But I feel like maybe you do things sometimes and you're just like, did I really, you know, not in the wisdom way that we were just talking about, but in kind of like a no-brainer, like, did I really do that? I didn't, you know, I don't know. Take that if it resonates. But I feel like this is speaking to who you are on a soul core level. Spirit is wanting to bring this through to help you see yourself in a different light, to bend that unbendable truth of who you think you are and help you see yourself from an even deeper perspective. Okay. We may get some more tarot, but I just feel called to use our animal deck here and get some clarifying messages. I don't feel like the messages we've gotten have particularly pertained to like what's coming in November, but I do think it's an incredibly important message of helping you shift your perception of yourself in spite of the things that you have endured, the obstacles that you've overcome, to see yourself in a deeper, more expansive light, to shift that identification. So you could see yourself as so much more, because you are so much more. All right, thank you, Spirit. Can we have some clarifying messages, please? Clarifying messages for this reading for Pisces, please and thank you. Clarifying messages for Pisces, please. Thank you so much. Would you look at that? Whale Spirit, and we're talking about depth in the ocean that was coming through. Trust the Great Mystery, number 65. Thank you so much. We just had Flamingo fly out. Okay. So we have Whale Spirit, Trust the Great Mystery, number 65, which reduces to 11. 11 is my number for Spirit. Then you have 48 with Porcupine Spirit, Time for a Beginner Mind. We also have Flamingo Spirit here, if you can see that. And I might have to adjust the cards a little bit. Okay. So We have porcupine spirit and then peacock spirit here. Very interesting. Yeah, I feel like the porcupine spirit goes right along with what we were talking about, that prickliness, that harshness, that, I don't know, that maybe you talk to yourself in that way sometimes. I don't even know if you fully grasp the depth, like how deeply rooted this is, how often you might be talking to yourself this way, or just a recognition of how other people have treated you, even in the face of you showing them grace. You know, peacock spirit is very graceful. Really, look at this. Peacock spirit, whale, and flamingo. These are graceful animals in their own way. Peacock especially talks to me about an energy of grace and of self-love, of self-worth, of seeing oneself. I love this card because there's this light coming from the peacock's heart space. And I feel like that's essentially the message that's going on here. Whales have enormous hearts. They go to the absolute depths of the ocean, which we were talking about in the beginning. Flamingos are also a water bird, and they can balance on one foot. Embrace the in-between. Pisces, I feel like that's what you do inherently. You inherently embrace the in-between because that's what helps you navigate and move in a world that is very much not friendly to the in-between. You know, sorry, they're showing me the numbers here. So we have 8, 11, the numbers that reduce. 26 reduces to an 8, 65 to 11, 48 reduces to a 12, so 11, 12, and then a 10. The 12, like 12, 12, that number sequence is standing out for me at the moment. And also December. So this might be, again, kind of like a fluid energy of November into December, this internal self-reflection, the self-work that they're asking you to do, to bend that perception, that old narrative of yourself, that old perception of you. Embracing the in-between, that you are victorious, that you have overcome so much in the face of adversity, of feeling alone and isolated, but you were always very connected to, I feel like you've actually remained quite grounded in the midst of all this. Even if you didn't feel like you were, I think you have remained quite grounded. Let's see here. I think I want to use the Crow Oracle for you to see what other messages we can get from Spirit about what's up ahead for you. So I think they're really wanting you to take a deep dive here. Kind of like Porcupine says, time for a beginner mind. It feels kind of imperative that you begin this work on yourself to view yourself in a deeper way. I don't think this isolation feeling is going to last forever for you. And in saying that, I feel like that's part of why it's so imperative for you to kind of get these internal ducks in a row. Now, this isn't to negate any personal work that you've already done on yourself whatsoever. But I do think there's a big component here of you viewing yourself in a different light. I heard as your own savior, but not in a negative way. Not like, well, I had to be my own savior. No, you look at it in a victorious way. I was my own savior. I did heal myself. Yes, you co-create with spirit. That's not questioned right now. But you've got to give yourself the credit. You've got to give yourself the credit here for the work that you have done and will continue to do. Thank you, Spirit. What else can Pisces anticipate for the month of November? Thank you. I think they want that one too. So we just had Sacred Space, number 43, come out here. 43 might be a significant number for you. We have play. Okay, this is significant. We have play here at the bottom. But the reason I'm saying this is significant, because at the bottom of your animal deck, you have be playful. So there's an energy of joy, of fun that needs to come in here. That's a missing element. And I can feel some of you saying, like, how could I play when I am having to fight? Or, you know, just like survival kind of a thing. How can I be in an energy of play when I'm trying to survive, when I'm trying to overcome these challenges? Because you're supposed to be in a place where you're putting yourself first. And I don't think that's something that you do. I don't think you carve time out just for you. I feel like you have been in an energy of just trying to survive, of make things work, of keeping that wheel moving all on your own. But I do feel like you need a distraction from the grind, from the mundane, from the everyday. I feel like some of you might be moving into a new place. If that's on your radar, you might be looking to have your own sacred space, your own that is coming through pretty strongly. So if that resonates for you, I can kind of see that, where you're maybe moving home, moving into a more stable, comfortable place that you can make your sacred space, that you could maybe even get a pet or something if you don't have one already. That's something that you've been wanting to do. Or at the very least, it's a place that you can feel settled, feel stable and cozy and comfortable. And I'm really fascinated here by this teamwork card, and I hope that you can see it. Let me pull it up here for you. I'm really fascinated by this card because it's got a hawk on it and all these poppies down here. So I feel like there's a death, an ending to an old way of this isolation, and you're going to be working with someone new. Someone new is going to be coming into your periphery here. That's either going to help be a positive distraction from the mundane, from that feeling of isolation, and or help you move into a new, more stable, cozy space for yourself. But regardless, the predominant message here is the self-interest card. Now, I don't see this card for you in any kind of negative light, even though it's kind of a dark card as an animal lover for me. But I do understand the cycles of life. And so there's something about cycles coming up here, about a wish that you have made, a wish fulfillment coming to fruition, of having enough, of having more than you need. This is coming through pretty strongly here for you. So I feel like that is something to anticipate in the month of November. And it really does tie back for me that feeling of not being so isolated anymore. So whether this is a romantic interest or like a best friend kind of energy you've been manifesting, a work partner, someone that resonates with you, that helps you feel, I'm hearing helps you feel alive, and like you're not so alone, like you're not on a team all by yourself, on an island all by yourself. They may even be a little different from you, but I'm hearing that's okay. Like that's the point, to help push you in a different direction, to see yourself more clearly. To see yourself in a different light, which is exactly what was coming back. It's coming back around from what we were talking about in the beginning. Spirit, we'll try it with this Crow Oracle. Help me understand the vision you gave me. How does that relate to this reading for Pisces? How does that vision relate to this reading for Pisces, please? Help me understand that. Again, if this reading resonates for you, wow, look at that. Luck. Things turning in your favor. Having more than enough. An abundance. Wow. Okay. Sorry, I'm knocking the camera. I just want to make sure it's in focus for you. And territory at the bottom. Okay, so your ancestors are guiding you. We're so glad you've come. We're so glad you've come. Your ancestors are guiding you to this person. It's like a guiding light. And I think all that you have to worry about right now is doing this internal work, so you are at peak you when they come around. You had the light in your hand as you were walking. You were walking to meet a group of people, but you were walking alone. You were walking alone in the dark carrying a candle. And you walked to this group of people. And an elder came up to you and said, "Come, we're so glad you've come." So this is a warm person. This is a warm community. These are people, or a person, I'm getting people that want to welcome you with open arms, so you do not feel alone anymore. A community that you can rely on, that will help you feel so much more abundant and in your truth, living your truth without any extraneous labels attached to you, other than the way you show up in the world as a kind, compassionate, joyful, playful, silly, loving human being who happens to do XYZ. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty guided to end it here for you, Pisces. This is very exciting. I am very excited for you. I hope that this reading resonated for you. If it did, please give me a thumbs up. Comment. If you don't know what to comment, you could do a crow emoji, an ocean wave emoji, a feather, or a house. Because for a lot of people tuning into this, I really feel like this change of space into something that resonates with you, that feels solid and safe and cozy. I really feel like that is literally on the cards for you. They keep bringing me back to that. So, all right. If you feel called to book a personal reading with me, you can find that information at my website at theseaowl.com. You can email me. You can find me on pretty much all the social media platforms. And yeah, I'm so grateful for this precious time with you. So more than anything, Pisces, please take excellent care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.